everyone, welcome back to Insider Gyaan. So today's video we are going to talk about all the popular career options that are available to us in India. Now, this is obviously not going to be a 100% comprehensive list because there are so many options out there, but I truly believe that this list should comprise about 80% of the entire spectrum. These companies recruit from both the undergrad colleges as well as the postgrad colleges, which is the B schools, but they offer different kind of roles in each of them. So in the subsequent videos, we are going to talk a lot more in detail about the difference in the roles offered, but let's get the basics out of the way first in today's video. So I've categorized all these jobs into 5 or 6 broad categories, but before we move ahead with today's video, I would request you to consider subscribing to get access to all the good information and the insider stories. Also, I posted a detailed introduction video last week about the purpose of this channel, the type of content to expect here, and I'm going to link it down in the description box below as well as on the screen somewhere here. Do check it out to get some more background. So the first category I'm going to talk about today, shouldn't come as a surprise, is consulting. And as is evident from the word itself, consulting is all about trying to understand your client problems, trying to gather required information to be able to provide a good solution, analyzing the data and coming up with the right recommendations for your clients. The first subcategory in this is management consulting, which we all know is really sought after because this is where you are working with the C-suite of the clients. By C-suite, I mean the CEOs, the CTOs, the CMOs, the CFOs of the company, and there's some high-level strategic or operational problem. You could be solving for, say for instance, decreasing profitability or growth strategy, market entry strategy. If, say for instance, the company wants to undergo a business model transformation, they're going to reach out to you to increase their operational efficiency. These are just some of the kind of problems that you are going to be solving for in management consulting. And the companies you are likely to work for are the BCGs, McKinseys, Bains of the world. And then there are, of course, Deloitte, Accenture, KPMG, EY, so on and so forth. The second big subcategory in consulting is IT consulting, which has become really big, especially in India. This is where you sort of design, build, and deploy the technology solutions for your clients. And some of the companies which offer these roles are TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, etc. And you really need to have a knack for coding if you're in IT consulting, at least in the initial few years. The third big subcategory in consulting is market research, as a part of which you are going to gather the information and analyze it. It's sort of a step just previous to management consulting. You are probably going to be involved in primary and secondary research. Secondary research is all about getting the information from the web, from documented databases which are available, and primary research is more about having those interviews with subject matter experts and getting their views on an issue. Some of the companies in this subcategory are Grail, Integrion, Mu Sigma, ZS Associates, Nielsen, Thomson Reuters, etc. The fourth and the last subcategory in consulting is analytics. Now, with increasing importance of information and data these days, analytics has sort of become a huge beast of its own. And every e-commerce company or an FMCG company would definitely have their own analytics division to predict buying patterns, to predict trends, to understand customer behaviors, so many things. It's really baffling how advanced analytics has become these days, and the underlying of analytics is still same as management consulting. You are sort of churning the data to get some insights which can help you in better decision making. The second category on my list is another big one and really sought after as well, is financial services. This should include investment banking, which is M&A, IPO and bond offerings. Then the second subcategory here is markets, which should include things like financial research, equity research, derivative structuring, sales, trading. Now, I know a lot of these terms might not make sense to you at the moment, but if I start talking about each of these in today's video, it's going to be a really long one. So I would rather dedicate one entire video explaining these things to you. But moving on in financial services, the third subcategory is private equity and venture capitals. These companies usually hold a stake in other companies. They try to add some value while they are holding that stake, and at a later stage sell it off for a higher price, either through an IPO or by private sale to another company or another private equity. The responsibilities here would usually include performing due diligence for potential targets and a little bit of financial modeling as well to understand the true worth of the company at present as well as its true potential in future. The fourth subcategory in financial services is corporate or retail banking, where banks like HDFC or Yes Bank or Axis Bank, ICICI, they would hire mostly B school graduates to handle their mid-office or front office operations. So front office operations usually would be sales, and the B school graduates are hired as relationship managers, where you sort of build those relationships with new clients, make proposals, try to understand your client needs, and while you have a good understanding of what products the banks offer, you suggest the right products to the clients. At the same time, you have to maintain relationships with the clients you have acquired in order to retain them. The last category in financial services is corporate finance, which is working in the finance department of the FMCG companies or the big conglomerates. I think there are really two subparts in this. In one, you could either be working to manage finances for a project, such as fundraising or allocating the right funds to projects which you think are going to get you the highest return. And the other subpart could be working in creating those financial statements. And mostly people who would be suitable for making those financial statements or helping in budgeting and allocation are going to be CAs with a solid understanding of the accounting standards of the country, accounting processes, etc. The third category on my list is general management. I think this should mostly entail the leadership programs that companies offer at the colleges, where you would be asked to work 3-month shifts across all the functions of the multinational, like finance, marketing, operations, maybe sales. And at the end of the leadership program, you're supposed to decide where you fit in and then take that as a permanent position for yourself. There are also some executive assistant positions which come under general management. So usually from big B schools, they would hire executive assistants to the C-suite people. For instance, executive assistant to the CEO of RPG. Some companies which offer really good general management roles are Aditya Birla Group, RPG, what else? Philips, Siemens, General Motors, etc. Next on my list is operations. So operations roles are primarily for the mechanical engineers, the IP engineers, or people who are pursuing operations in business administration. This includes roles in supply chain management, inventory management, procurement, fulfillment, capacity planning, and in general looking over a manufacturing plant, say for instance, for some of the FMCG companies. Companies which offer really good operational roles are Amazon, ITC, HUL. Yeah, these are some of the names that are coming to my mind at the moment. Another kind of job that I want to include in operations is project management. A lot of these multinationals would have a project management unit or hire a few project managers to oversee the progress of some of their ad hoc projects that they have. And these people are responsible for resource management, creating the timelines, determining the critical path, ensuring that everyone is adhering to these timelines and budgets, status reporting, in general, maintaining the entire project and ensuring that the project gets done within the time frame and within budget. So moving on to the next category, which is sales and marketing. In sales, you will probably be hired as a sales manager who manages the sales representatives in order to meet the sales targets of the company, to build those client relationships, to manage customer experience and retain those clients. As a marketing manager, however, you could be responsible for a product or a brand, and you would be responsible for placing the product in the right place in the market, understanding customer behaviors, predicting trends and understanding the competition, as well as managing campaigns. There could also be jobs in the market research division of the companies where you would be getting the information and analyzing trends and sending the information to the BD team or the business development team of the company so that it can be acted upon. Another role that's becoming really important these days is that of a digital media manager who would position the ads correctly on the online platforms, and this guy should have a solid knowledge about AdWords, about SEO or search engine optimization to be able to place the ads in the right places for grabbing customer eyeballs. Moving on to the next big category, that is technology jobs. This is the world of Google, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft. Now, in this world, you could either be a product manager who is responsible for coming up with a product idea based on the market requirements, and he's responsible for managing the entire life cycle of the product, right from conceptualization to deployment. Or you could be a business analyst who sort of understands the business, understand the requirements of the business, and develop the BRDs or the business requirement documents. The third role could be that of a software developer, where you would actually be converting the business requirement documents into technology solutions. Now, another role that has become really important in technology is project management. I know I talked a little bit about it before, but project management holds a special importance in technology projects because the tech implementation projects are notorious for having huge teams, maybe 100 or even 200, and they span over a couple of years, 4 or 5 years sometimes. It's very important that companies get hand of good talent with really good understanding of technology, good at handling pressure, who can sort of ensure that such huge projects are delivered on time and within the budget. The next category I have on my list is of public policy and jobs in the development sector. Now, such kind of jobs are still nascent in India, but they're really popular in the Western countries, and I believe that in no time it's going to be a mainstream option as well. So basically, it's very similar to a consultant role, but your client, instead of multinational corporates, is going to be the administrative bodies of the country. Say for instance, you're working for a district or a state. You could also be working in high-profile places like the World Bank, United Nations, companies like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, etc. I also want to make a brief mention of HR related jobs here because I think without mentioning that, the list would not be complete. But I'm not going to go into too many details because A, I'm not an expert, and B, I think it's not a generalist role, it's more of a specialist role because someone who would have done business administration in HR would only be qualifying for these kind of roles. But they should include things like determining compensation, learning and development, recruiting talent, policy making and ensuring compliance, etc. I sort of conclude my list with that, but if you think I've left out on a big career option, do leave me a comment in the comment section below and I'm going to make sure to pin it so that everyone else can read it too. So that's all that I had in my mind for this video, but I'm going to leave you with the thought that you should not restrict yourself to only these options. If you have a passion and you think you have it in you to make it into a business or a career option for yourself, then you do you. There are so many people who have graduated from big names like IITs and IIMs but have later left their corporate jobs to pursue their passion in acting or blogging, photography, commentary, Harsha Bhogle. So while Insider Gyan is here to give you all the information you need, it is you who have to make the right career choice for yourself at the end of the day. Okay, that's enough Gyan for today. I'm going to end the video here. Do not forget to do the usual, like, share, comment, subscribe. And in the next video, we are going to talk a little bit about the difference between the roles offered to undergrads versus roles offered to the postgrads. I'll see you then. Bye.